Hello, good morning, and welcome to A Bettor Morning, presented by Rival Fantasy. I'm Heather Klein. Rival Fantasy is the all-in-one fantasy sports platform. We debate the trending topics in sports from a sports betting point of view. Let's welcome today's panel. Award-winning host, the fantasy exec, Corey Parson. Host of Her Story in the Making, Britt's Fantasy Blitz, and co-host of Lightning Round, Britt Flynn. Head of content of Fantasy Alarm, and award-winning host on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, Howard Bender. Welcome, everyone.
Yo, what up?
Morning, guys.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? Howard, good to see you. Britt,
hey, thanks for having me. Oh my God, Corey.
Britt, I mean Britt. I'm sorry, Britt. Good to see you.
Well, are you two still fighting? I've been gone for how long, and you two are still fighting with each other?
Nothing to fight about. I made her name longer by accident.
I'm calling Fugazi.
No, I'm serious. It was truly an accident.
Okay, we'll go with that. All right, let's get to it. The running back saga continues, and we have now moved on to the Indianapolis Colts, where over the weekend, Jonathan Taylor requested a trade, and the Indy owner, Jim Irsay, told reporters that he would not trade his star running back. No contract negotiations have begun, and Irsay also said they have no plans to start anytime soon. Taylor has been on the PUP list, although he denies that he has any back issues. There's also a possibility that he will be placed on the non-football injury list, which could impact his money during the season. Would Taylor be on your list of guys that you'd avoid in fantasy football? And where do you see his ADP after all this news? Howard, you're up first.
Oh, I get first honors on this one. All right, listen.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm still, listen, I haven't moved Jonathan Taylor in my rankings yet. I need to see the way that this whole saga is going to kind of unfold over the next couple of days, especially with Taylor denying any kind of a back issue. So I will say that I'll just keep drafting him where I'm drafting him, tail end of the first round, early second. But the problem isn't just about football here. It's ownership versus union. A tale as old as time, people. The union reps the rank and file. They look at the current economic climate, and they want to feed their families right now. Ownership's thinking about the economic climate 15 years from now. Ownership's playing chess. The union is playing checkers, so let's blame DeMaurice Smith here. How else did the ownership get an opt-out from the 93 CBA back in 2011? The union agreed to rookie caps, $50 million paid to medical research, $1 billion to retirement funds. They got what they were asking for at the time of the lockout, all right? But they claimed they got what they claimed to want, not understanding what was happening down the road. And that is the inherent problem right now, not just with the NFL, but unions versus management in general.
And especially, Howard, in the NFL, where DeMaurice Smith is in charge of the union, but DeMaurice Smith might as well be in charge of the management. He's a shill for Roger Goodell and the owners, you know what I'm saying? So you think, well, they don't want to get too deep into it, but the players got plenty of things that they can get after with DeMaurice Smith. And here's the next thing. This is a collectively bargained agreement. Running backs, please stop crying. I don't want to start next week talking about running backs as well. As far as Jonathan Taylor for fantasy goes, I would buy the dip because guess what? When the season started, he's going to be there standing next to Anthony Richardson. That's the end of the story right there. So much to do about nothing. Now, what Irsay is doing is playing hardball. He's saying, okay, you don't want to show up, you want to hold a sit-in, then I'll put you on a non-football injury list. And then you 2 years away from the franchise tag. So fool around and find out. Irsay ain't playing. And guess what? Taylor is getting bad advice from his agent, and he'll be when it's time for the season to start, Jonathan Taylor will be right there.
I don't think Taylor ever said that he was going to hold out or hold in or whatever it was. I think that he had a meeting with Irsay, and Irsay said, we're not going to extend you after this season. And he requested a trade, and now Irsay's being all pissy about it. I don't think that that's right. Aside from that, I could go on and on about that, but Taylor was already on my list of people to avoid at ADP. I put out an article way, way back after the draft on Fantasy Alarm, and this makes me even more concerned. I'm looking at a lot of what the high stakes players are doing, and this weekend, Taylor's ADP fell to the 305, which is concerning that it dropped that much just with a little bit of news. The fact that the Colts are playing hardball with their best player and making it public is just so extremely messy and dirty. And if they're willing to air that much dirty laundry in public, just imagine what goes on in private. If the Colts do actually end up putting him on the non-football injury list and he doesn't have an injury, this is going to evolve the union and it's going to get bad, like real bad. So I don't want anything to do with Taylor right now.
I mean, I just don't see it. I mean, it makes no sense to hold out. I mean, you can put the trade forth and see what happens. I mean, Irsay is not a moron. Does he want to fight this or have this kind of nightmare headache? Or if somebody comes along and makes a trade offer to him, is he going to do that? Could the Chargers turn around and be like, yo, we'll give you Eckler and a second round draft pick and you give us Jonathan Taylor and easy peasy and we're done. And Irsay's not a moron. He would do something like that. Eckler fits that mold a little bit better in Indy anyway. I just, again, I think the huge problem here is that everybody wants to renegotiate a deal. You sign the deal. That was it. I get it.
The thing about it, Howard, is the dude sat up there in OTAs in front of the podium and said, I got to play through the course of my contract. He said that a couple months ago at the podium. And everybody forgot about that. Now they think he's in the poorhouse like the rest of the running backs. Irsay is just saying, listen, you're not going to play like this with me. So you're going to, if you don't get here, then you're going to be on a non-football injury list. And then now you're 2 years away. Now, as far as him not saying that he's not going to negotiate a contract at the end of the season, I'm not sure the validity of that, but it's either going to be an extension or a franchise tag.
Just the way that they're treating running backs in general is so dirty.
How?
I don't think that, well, if you let me finish, then I'm going to tell you, Corey, because I think that as a second round rookie, you don't really have much leverage at all. You either sign your contract or you don't play. You don't get any say in this. You don't really have a lot of say into the collective bargaining agreement that was negotiated when you were in college and out of the league. You don't have much say in that contract. And by going into that contract, you expect the owners and management to negotiate a good faith agreement with you, that if you are one of the best players on this team, that they're going to reward you for that. And so far they haven't been. And it's a league-wide problem that really needs to be addressed. It's not about people crying. It's about
They are crying because, like, here's the thing. Yes, you would expect certain things, but if you're getting into the NFL right now, then you know what you're in for. In 2011, when they were dealing with the lockout and ownership opted out of that CBA, which again blows my mind that they were given an opt-out at that point for the CBA.
The owners.
Right? Yeah. Like, who gives the ownership opt-out clauses here? Like, so that happens. And then DeMaurice Smith negotiates this other deal. Like I said, they sat there and they offered up. They were like, the rank and file were like, we want this now. We want this now. Boom. Rookie cap. That's what happened. The players asked for a cap on rookie salaries because draft numbers were coming up crazy and these kids were coming into the league making bonkers monies, and that was upsetting the people who were already there, already established. So you're dealing with that aspect. Then they said what we want is we want $50 million to go towards medical research because we're all getting banged up and we're all killing ourselves because we got CTE. So they got that. Then they were like, we want $1 billion put aside for our retirement fund. And that happened too. So the rank and file were thinking about what happens for them inside 5 years. And ownership was like, okie dokie, no problem. Because we're looking at the economy and and salary levels 15 years from now. So sorry, running backs and anybody else who wants to get a raise, either honor your contract or get out of the league. There are plenty of people who want a job inside the NFL who can get it. And, that's the way it is. That's what DeMaurice Smith negotiated for the union. That's what the union accepted. And now they're crying foul because they weren't looking far enough ahead into the future. That's the problem.
That was great, guys. Thank you so much for that wonderful, passionate debate. Let's move on to baseball. On Saturday, the Texas Rangers and New York Mets agreed to a deal sending Max Scherzer and cash to the Rangers for shortstop prospect Luis Angel Acuna. This season, Scherzer has struggled with the Mets and has a 4.01 ERA and a 4.03 strikeout to walk ratio over his first 19 starts. Was this a good trade for both teams? And will the starting pitcher benefit the Rangers' World Series aspirations? Corey, you're up first.
The Mets sellers at the deadline. Story at 6. I mean, listen, I'm never falling for this stuff with the Mets again. You know what I'm saying? Got me going on shows, talk about the Mets going to win the National League because they got this guy and that guy. And then they get to Queens and they become the Mets. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, the Mets are sellers. Shout out to the Texas Rangers, you know. Got 60 wins so far this season, looking to make a deep run. So now they go out and add some arms and hopefully can do that in that big Canaveras ballpark or however they say it. So, yeah, the Mets are sellers, the Rangers are buyers, and then see how many players the Mets can trade this week, and then we can have a good laugh about it.
Yeah, I think that Scherzer is washed, and the Rangers taking on this contract was silly. But I guess if they're just looking for a rental of sorts, which is what I'm counting him as due to his age, sure, they did okay. They needed depth with Nathan Eovaldi on the 15-day IL and Jacob deGrom out with Tommy John surgery. And Scherzer has had a good career up to this season. Maybe it's just the stink of the Mets that he needed to wash off. So I also think the Mets helped out their cause by getting some young talent and moving a big contract off that pretty bloated roster. But does this help the Rangers' World Series odds? I really don't think so. They're still at plus 1,600. They're 6th in the MLB, and I'm not sure that they can get it done with all the surprising powerhouse teams in the AL.
Well, I'd like to take the first couple of seconds of my time to say, yes, getting the game is on it right there. The stink of the Mets. I just want to frame that right there and just put that in. That is definitely going to be the title of the book, the next book written about the Mets, the stink of the Mets. They are a trash organization. It's just terrible. Absolutely terrible. They are the ultimate banana in the tailpipe. No doubt about it. Corey, I believe the word you were looking for was cavernous.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Globe Life Park in Texas, cavernous indeed. Give me the Rangers, baby. I was saying on this very show 2 months ago that you wanted to bet the Rangers to win the World Series. Their offense was phenomenal. 1 through 6 in their lineup, all contributing, and then 7, 8, and 9 was kicking in too. Yes, yes, yes. Now you got Jordan Montgomery. Now you got Max Scherzer. Scherzer will pitch better with the change of scenery, the winning culture, the attitude, everything like that. He is nowhere near what he once was. But for a rental when you got burned by the Jacob deGrom stank, well, there it is, Texas. I'll bet those Rangers. I am happy for them. And you know what? Listen, I love you, Luis Angel Acuna, Ronald's younger brother. I wish you nothing but the best. But yeah, you're in a trash organization. You better get out if you want a career to take off.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It feels like everybody who goes to the Mets just completely falls off a cliff. And that's why I think that it's more than just the scenery. I think that it's ownership. I think it's the management. I mean, there's so many things wrong with this organization that they take good players and turn them into trash. And it's really unfortunate.
There's a reason the ballpark is built in Flushing, Queens. Come on. It doesn't lay it out any easier for you than that.
Listen, the spot in the Bronx ain't much better, though.
Hey, I'll still take the spot in the Bronx over Flushing, Queens. You ever take the 7 train out there from Manhattan?
Wild story of me and Scott Engel on the 7 train one day, but that's an off-air story.
I don't even know what trains are that you speak of. Trains? You can get somewhere on a train?
Yeah, New York City subway transportation.
Yeah, just like, the train that goes through Arkansas, Britt, the one that all the hobos kind of jump in on in the car and then they ride it to the next town, hoping to get some work.
Yeah, it's just wooks now, though. It's not workers, it's just wooks.
It's just wooks. Making it to the next fish show. Please, somebody get me there. What's next, Heather?
More Mets.
I don't want to talk about the Mets anymore.
More Mets.
I think we lost Heather. I think Heather's
I'm
like
right here. I think you guys are having the best time. It's a great morning.
Tune in,
All
Mets
right.
fans.
Yeah. Oh, the Mets continue. Let's keep it in New York and talk about another high-priced veteran pitcher for the Mets in Justin Verlander. I feel the Mets have overshadowed the Shohei Ohtani trade rumors, Corey, just a little bit. Several teams have been tied to the three-time Cy Young winner, the Rangers, Astros, Dodgers, and most recently the Braves. But sources have said that the Mets would be requested to pay a large portion of his current salary. And also, just like Scherzer, he has a no-trade clause. What is the likelihood of Justin Verlander being in a different uniform come Tuesday? Britt, you're up.
So I think the likelihood is pretty good. It's just a matter of deciding where he's going to go. We already established that the Mets are clearly sellers, and there are several teams trying to bulk up their roster before crunch time as injuries really take a hold. I really have no interest in bringing him to LA, but with Kershaw's shoulder, Urias's unpredictability, and the rest of the young guys on the roster kind of being up and down, Verlander would bring in some experience and stability to the Dodgers pitching room. The young guys on the roster have been fine, but their lack of experience really isn't what you want going down the stretch into the postseason. And I know they brought back Joe Kelly, but if it's not the Dodgers, I can also see the Orioles making a play.
I'll steal her last couple of seconds and be like, ooh, Orioles. I kind of dig that. That sounds nice. I'd rather that than the Astros getting them back. Or the Dodgers adding another arm. Listen, Verlander, again, like Scherzer, not what he once was. Not the crazy dominant performance that you used to seeing here. But you know what? In playoff time, I'll take it. I'll take Scherzer. I'll take Verlander. I don't think the Braves, I know the Braves, are named here, but I think that's just kind of to upset the apple cart because there's no way that the Mets want to trade him within the division. Not even just about seeing him next year. They just don't want the Braves to win it all. So I don't mind him going to the Dodgers. I could see them, doing that. The Mets will eventually pick up some of that salary. They're trying not to get burnt, but that organization is toast.
Put some butter on them.
Yes.
So like the Mets again, the interesting thing here is paying the bulk of the 2023 salary. And you got to get me like a real good prospect in return if I'm going to continue to pay this guy. At least in my opinion, that's the way that I would go about it. But I can understand that being the case. More than likely, he'll be on another team come Tuesday. And then the Mets can, close out the season, with Met Fan Appreciation Day, and they can come to the stadium and, you know what I'm saying, and sing songs about being Met fans and how terrible it's been over the past 4 decades or whatever. And then, and then they can just be Met fans.
I'm lobbying for the final game at Citi Field this year to be called Close the Casket Day. Because
there you go.
Oh.
Right? Because they're dead. They're dead. And do you remember 2 years ago when Met fans were like, oh, we got Steve Cohen now. We're super psyched because he doesn't care about about price or anything like that. He's just going to open up the checkbook. Look at what checkbook baseball got you, Mets fans. Look at what it got you. It got you an entire season of yearning for Dan Vogelbach to hit a home run. That's what it got you. That's what checkbook baseball got the Mets. So blow up this team, blow up this organization. Right, even Francisco Lindor, who was one of my absolute favorite players, then he got that Met stank on him, and this dude can't hit his way out of a paper bag right now. What's he batting? Under 240, under 230, I think.
Culture is bad. The culture is bad in the organization. There's no way. There's nothing else to say about it.
Well, I have one more thing to say that's kind of an extraneous thing. With the no trade clause, he's going to have to actually approve the trade that he goes to. Do you think Kate Upton has something to say in that? Because I think Kate Upton would love to be back in LA. And I think that if it comes down to deciding between which cities are best for her and her career, that could also play a little bit of a part into it that we're not exactly factoring in. So
true, but she can just go live out there.
well, yeah, but I mean, I guess celebrities are different, but I was going to say, who wants to live without your husband? But I guess a lot of people do. Not me. Not me. I realize my situation is cool with it. I realize my situation is unique now that it's coming out of my mouth, you know.
I heard that JV and KU were binge watching The Wire just in case they ended up in Charm City. Right, send him to Baltimore. I do think that Kate Upton, obviously, behind closed doors, will have some sort of a say if he's deciding between going to a top market like LA. But again, just like Scherzer, I mean, this is just a rental. And I think and the thing that I love so much about Kate Upton is just how competitive she is. I don't think there's enough focus on that. There's too much focus about what's going on down here and not enough focus about that competitive nature that's going on up here for her. And that woman wants a championship. That woman wants her man on the top of the mountain. So I think she would actually be like, I don't give a crap where we go for the rest of this year. Just give my man that World Series ring again.
If we had more time, I'd tell you what I like about Kate Upton, but we got to go to the next topic.
Oh, Corey.
I
believe the word you were looking for there,
My
Corey,
gosh.
was mountainous. Not
yes.
Thank you very much. I'm playing the room all evening. Try the veal.
You'll be here all night, Howard. You'll be here all night. Oh my gosh. Speaking of the off-air stuff we were talking about. Okay. It's that time again, the return of Dealer's Choice. Give us your bet of the day. It could be on any topic and any sport. Howard, what do you have for us today?
Oh, I get to go first here. All right, well, I don't want to get bullied by Corey Parson by giving you some, minus 110 bet. You missed a minus 110. So here you go. I'm going to trash another Met, former Met, actually. And I'm going to take the Houston Astros minus half a run for the first 3 innings against the Cleveland Guardians. Why? Because Noah Syndergaard is on the mound, and that boy is trash. There's zero chance that he's going to escape. Houston just watched Texas make all of these moves. They're going to come out like a house of fire. I'll bet you they put up 3-4 runs on Syndergaard within the first 2 innings. Welcome back from your blister, Thor. You stink. And so there it is. Houston Astros minus half a run, first 3 innings, plus 110 for you, Corey.
I like it. I'll go plus 195 since I'm the chalk. And the fact that this bet right here is only plus 195 gives me a thought process that I could be on to something. Nobody's going to agree with this, but I don't expect nobody to. But at plus 195, I will wager that the Buffalo Bills do not make the NFL playoffs this year. Ooh. I really think that the culture in Buffalo is broken. The way the season ended and then started back in OTAs the same way, I was told that dudes will date each other's girlfriends or ex-girlfriends on teams, bring the girl back around the team, and the players don't be mad at each other as long as Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs be mad at each other. There's something else going on. Fade the Buffalo Bills.
That's spicy. I thought at first you were taking my pick because it is also plus 195, nice. But it is baseball. I'm taking the Angels plus 195 money line against the Braves. The Angels have been making a postseason push after declining to trade Ohtani, and the Braves have kind of been on a skid. Charlie Morton's having a horrible season. His 10.3% walk rate is the worst since 2016, and his strikeout rate is at its worst since 2015. The Angels have been really hot since the trade deadline kind of cloud moved over their head. They've won 9 after their last 12, and the Braves are just 7-7. So I think they keep their streak going today. I do worry a little bit about Canning giving up some home runs against the Braves, but at plus 195, I'm not worried that much. Give me the Angels on the money line.
Every night I will do like a 5-team MLB parlay. It never hits. but I'm actually going to add that Angels plus 195 to it today.
I feel like it's too good to pass up. I mean, yes, the Braves have been so good this season, but they haven't been great since the break. I mean, they really haven't. So I don't know. I appreciate that.
The Bills are fine. We'll see, Dustin. We'll see if they fine.
Man, I say like both those bets. So to hit the Angels real quick, yes, adding Crone and Grichuk to the top half of that lineup might sound boring and gross, but that's what you want. You just need boring and gross. You just need guys to hit the ball. That's what you're getting here. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to trade for a superstar. You already have a superstar in Ohtani. You just need to enhance the team around him, and that's going to be great. And as far as that Bills pick, dude, I do love that. I really do. I mean, bringing your girl around here, that was fine for Roy Kent and Jamie Tart, but that's TV, baby. It doesn't happen that way in real life. You do ruffle some feathers a lot. Dude, I love both those bets there. I'm putting them both in. Boom.
All right, guys.
Anything else y'all want to talk about?
Thank you for asking, Corey. Thank you for asking.
No, I can always go back to Jonathan Taylor. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we can. I know you definitely can have more to say, but we need to go to Howard because Fantasy Alarm has this great fantasy football cheat sheet. Can you tell us more about it, Howard?
I can indeed. Listen, for all of you out there who need just one thing, your set of rankings, your draft grid, everything like that, the Fantasy Alarm cheat sheet has everything that you could possibly need. I build you a draft grid that breaks down all 16 rounds by half rounds, suggesting players where to go. It has auction values in there as well, so it's a blueprint. It's a blueprint for how to have a nice, successful draft and build your team the proper way. You get all of my rankings. You get our rookie rankings, our dynasty rankings, our top 200. You get all of Andrew Cooper's dynamic tier rankings in there as well. And listen, it's a nice, tidy PDF, and that's the only thing that you're going to need once you get into your draft room. So Fantasy-Alarm-dot-com/cheatsheet. Oh, baby.
There you go. You have 45 seconds left. Corey, do you have anything left to say about Jonathan Taylor?
Jonathan Taylor needs to get to camp so we can see how the Indianapolis Colts rushing offense look like with Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor. And Jonathan Taylor won all of this money. He's had one good season. Well, really 2 good months. Jonathan Taylor.
2 good months. Well, you know what? Let's end it on a high note.
He only had 2 good months. Average running back. Making average money. He make more money than Joe Burrow will this year, though. So he ain't complaining about that.
There you go. Oh yeah, just do want to say congratulations to Andrew Cooper for
the
new baby. She arrived yesterday.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Oh my goodness.
Laney Ray Cooper.
Shout out to Coop.
Ooh, I like that.
To the club, you know what I mean? And they don't got to worry about an August baby, which I have a August birthday coming up. 13 years now.
All right. Thanks, Corey.
That reminds me, I'm going to go get a vasectomy after this. Thank you.
Howard, relax.
Make sure you check out Fantasy Alarm Football at 1 p.m. and Britt's Fantasy Blitz at 2. That was today's edition of A Bettor Morning.